Leeds. Hello, welcome back to Imagine Not Being Leeds for your review of the Leeds QPR game. Hello, Brooke. Yeah, I was at the game today. I'm putting a bit of a vlog together, put all my clips together I took today, and I'll post them probably in the morning. But yeah, it was a 2-0 win, 3 points. Sunderland drew, so it makes our win look a lot better. The goal at the end, which I'll speak on later, by Pido, glosses over what I think was not the best performance. But I mean, I get quite a bit of stick sometimes for being too positive, and I don't see a lot wrong with what we're doing at the minute. Today was the first time we've got 3 points, and I've come away from the game feeling a little bit. Let's say I'm about Fark and about the players. I think we'll be fine, but today's definitely the first time this season, especially where, yeah, I was bored, and like I say, I'm not mourning. We got 3 points. Just a lot of stuff that's been said this week. From people like Joe, especially on Joe's show the other night, and I have a bloke called Easy in my chat quite a bit, and you know, some valid points. Sometimes I feel they're a tad too negative, but a lot of what they say rung true today. But albeit we got the 3 points, which, like I say, I aren't gonna sit and whinge too much about 3 points, clean sheet, 2 goals. But I'm sure everyone will agree there were certain spells in that second half that you want to see more from them, which we'll go through. But if you don't mind sticking a like on the video, subscribe if you're not subscribed, please. We're on the road to 300 subscribers. Be nice to get there in the next week or so. Gary Davis, even matter, good win in the end, mate. Yeah, what a good win, mate. It's a good win, yeah. The performance, let's say, we'll go into. Danny, hey up, Danny, mate. Thanks for being here again. Evening, do you still want the lottery numbers? Ooh, well, I think you got 5 numbers there, but you didn't quite get the bonus ball today. Just a little bit short on you on your score for that Pido goal at the end. But yeah, you are pretty good with your predictions, Dan. It be fair, you said it'd be tight, and yeah, we're almost 1-0 on it. Callum Sharp, get us on next time. Yeah, I try to get Callum on, but a bit of trouble with his phone, and yeah, he's a top lad, is Callum. He messages me quite frequently, most days, to be fair, on Facebook. Don't we have a bit of a chat back and forth up Messenger, and you know your stuff. So yeah, we'll have to get you on at some point, Callum. You're a good, decent lad. We dropped off in the second half. Yeah, we did, pal. So we'll start off with the news that broke this morning, which I've done a video on this morning. Firpo news. That when it first came out, I thought my mate were talking rubbish. To be fair, I thought he would winding me up at 9 o'clock this morning when he told me that Firpo had been banned for 3 games. It's, you know, usually when there's a ban coming up or something like that, or a hearing, you sort of know about it. You know, I can't recall the incident when I was watching the game. I can't recall any news after Wednesday night. People in the know might have seen it coming. I certainly didn't. I didn't know he were even up in front of, you know, anyone for a hearing regarding a headbutt or lack of a headbutt. There were definitely movement there. You know what I mean? He's given the player a chance to go down. It weren't seen in the game right at the end, but obviously it's been picked up on camera. The Millwall players taking it further, and you know, rightly so, he's been dealt with. And I would expect that the club had maybe fine him as well, or look into some sort of punishment within Leeds United themselves. You know, it's very poor that Firpo made himself unavailable for this game, and the next 2 after this. You know, I think as an experienced player, it's certainly baffling that he's let his head go. I know it was a tough game at Millwall, and frustrating for all of us, and we know Firpo's very passionate. We saw at Sunderland, he was the first in down tunnel fuming when Melliam had that clanger. But yeah, you've got to keep your head. You know, he's part of that leadership group, or one of the older heads in there, very experienced, and you know, he's left us short there today. I did say in my preview that I don't think it'll matter. I don't think Firpo being out will affect us too much today. I think it did in aspects. I feel like you're always going to lack that attacking threat. And when you're at home, you want to be on front foot. And we know what Firpo gives us is one of the first names on team sheet when he's playing, when he's fit, when he's not suspended. But yeah, it weren't the great start to this as Saturday morning hearing that news. But luckily, it isn't a week where you've got Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday. It's literally today's game, and then we've got a bit of a layoff, haven't we? So Barnum will be able to finish those 2 games pretty steadily. I think he did okay. We'll touch on Barnum soon. But yeah, the lineup. So when the lineup came through, it was exactly what I was hoping for, if I'm honest. I wanted to see Solomon given a chance. And I really want to see Joseph have a chance. I'm a massive Joseph fan. I think he offers so much. I think his ceiling's really high. I think he's a really young, hungry player who, I really hope it works out for him at Leeds United. I think he's a top player in the making. It's just, can he ride these tough moments where it's not quite going for him? I can see he's getting frustrated. I could see it today. He just doesn't tend to drop for him. Whereas Mr. Pirro he comes on and he's always in the right space, right place, right time, and when he gets those chances, he puts them away, doesn't he? But I was really happy to see the changes. Obviously, Byron for Firpo is what I was expecting. Solomon and Joseph came in were the only 2 changes I could really see. There were calls for, Gilavogi maybe to start at Millwall, and people said maybe he'll get given a go. I didn't see that at home. I didn't think we needed Gilavogi in there, and he went with Tanaka and Rothwell. And like I say, the only 2 changes I think the majority of people sort of, could envisage happening were Joseph and Solomon coming in for James and Pirro. And best thing about that is, as we'll touch on, you saw their impact. Their impact is massive off the bench. I do think Pirro gets his flowers. He got the second goal, but I do believe that Joseph starting, playing the long game in terms of 70 minutes of him running round, he's going to tire defenders out, and Pirro can come in and do that. Farke's just got to have that backbone to allow Pirro to keep going on and scoring and still say you've got to stay on bench, because how many years have we had it where we haven't had an impact off a bench? Now we have, and it's just, you can't give into that peer pressure for me. He did it last time, when he came off a bench and got, I think, 4 in 4 shots over 4 or 5 game period, and he started him, and I understand that, I really do. But now I think it's proven that the best way forward with his side is Joseph starting and Pirro coming off the bench. It just works. That's the best combination, because if it's not working for Pirro, which it tends to not when he starts games, it's hard for him to get in games. Joseph doesn't have the same impact as Pirro does. So for me, that change there is the right change, and the one that I think they should use going forward. Honestly, when Pirro scores, I know I get a message off you. Yeah, Dilla will have been happy as well, won't he, mate? With the season Solomon moves to Leeds, does not see him returning to the Tottenham squad. Maybe not, mate, no. I thought he played okay today. But he definitely ain't flying to the point where he's getting Tottenham side anytime soon, is he? But he's still regaining match fitness, mate. He's still trying to get up to speed. Can you drop down to Championship after a really serious injury and expect to get into Tottenham starting lineup? I'm not too sure. I'm sure he'll back himself to get back up there. We know his ceiling's high, but that meniscus injury on his knees, a massive one, and a really, really big one to get over, especially, with him being such an explosive player. And as he, is it going to affect him long term? Possibly. We'll have to see, but he'll definitely back himself, I think, to get some minutes under his belt this year, then get back to Tottenham. Mate. I don't think he'll be thinking he won't have a chance, to be honest. No, he's on loan, yeah. He is on loan, mate. There is no VAR in the Championship. No, there isn't, pal. Daddy, smash a like and subscribe, please, if you haven't already. Yeah, please stick a like on videos, guys, if you're in there. And if you're here for the first time, please subscribe. So that's touching on lineup. First half, I didn't think we came out flying. Like at Ellen Road, we tend to come out really well in that opening 20. I thought QPR, to be fair, had a few all right players. I think they had 5 or 6 first teamers out. They had no Elias Chair, even though Danny tried winding me up saying that he'd be playing, because I don't mind him. I think he's a top player. I think he's a bit of an arsehole, but I think he's a really tricky player. The sort of 10 you associate with, those kind of players like a Buendia, and Chair's that technical player who we've been longing for a long time. Someone who can score from outside box and thread a ball through to the striker. And I was really happy to see that he was injured, as bad as that sounds. I was glad he weren't playing today, because they had some threats today. They had a couple of moments, and with Chair playing, it could have been it could have been a bit of a different story in terms of them in front of goal. So I'm glad he was out. I was really happy to see that. But yeah, I feel like first half was a really good half for Leeds. I feel like I say, I thought first 20 until the goal, just before 20 minutes, I think 18 minutes, we were steady without doing no brilliant. Aronson's shot hitting the bar as well just before, but that goal for Bogle, he really grew into this game, and for me, it was his best game in the league shirt for me. I thought he started a couple of passes out of play at first opening 5 to 10 minutes, but him and Willie down the right hand side for the first half especially, I thought their synergy and cohesion together were just brilliant. The overlaps, Willie, dropping inside, slowing the play down while Bogle made that overlapping run, and a couple of times he just dinked it over the top and he got in behind. Did Bogle, and delivering some decent balls into the box, a couple not so decent, but really threatening down that right hand side, especially with the left hand side. Been a bit, I say not patched up, but with Byron playing with Solomon, they're still trying to get used to each other's game. I think that's only the second time they're playing together now down there, and obviously they're both cut inside. There's no left footed on that left hand side, whereas on the right hand side you've got Nonto and Bogle, both right footers, both comfortable on that side, both pacey, but both direct. That left hand side, I thought they both played well. It's just not as it's not going to be as cutting edge as that right hand side for me. I think Bogle and Willie have got a really good partnership down there. I feel like they played really well that first half, especially. I thought they were phenomenal, and I just love how that goal, the ball will bounce around in the box, chance after chance after chance, but that wouldn't have even happened if it weren't for Rothwell. The game, it stages today, especially for that first goal, but all the way through the game, when the game went a little bit stagnant and a little bit, I feel like when we don't play with tempo, everyone at Leeds YouTube scene and anyone who knows ball really always goes on about Leeds' tempo. When we pass the ball quickly forward, we hurt teams really quickly as well. Teams can't live with the quality when we play at pace. When we're slow, lethargic. When the build up side to side, it's easy for them to cram behind ball. And I feel like there were certain moments where that happened today, more in the second half, but in the first half a little bit. And Rothwell grabbed the game by its scruff of neck. He really did. And I mean, like I say, I was in the stadium and he stood out a mile to me today. I don't know what it looked like for people watching on TV, but Rothwell today really took the mantle. And I mean, that first goal, he picked it up and he drove into the box and played a lovely little left-footed chip into the box and just caused carnage. There were a couple of missed attempts and it fell to Bogle. And I love that about Bogle. You think he's his right wing back and he's there at left-hand post in their box and he's smashed it home off at bar. And I love that, especially in a game like this when you're at home and you want to be, forward thinking, you want to be scoring goals. 23rd at League QPR, you want your lads to be flying forward and creating chances. I love where he ended up for that goal. He's so far forward. The threat for QPR, I didn't think we're going to be there that much today, so you can afford to do that. But yeah, like Danny says, it on his left foot as well, and he just smashed it home. And I love that. Like, what right has he got to be stood there as our right back? I love it. I thought he deserved his goal. I feel like this season, his output in terms of his goals and assists, unfortunately for him, as high as what I expected. Because I think his performances have grown. I think he started off shaky in the league shirt, and I think he's getting better and better. He got a suspension out of the way now. I don't know if that run his mind for a few games when his form dipped slightly, waiting for that card. Trying not to be too eager in challenges. He got that yellow now. That's wiped clean. He's come back and he was outstanding today with Bogle. Definitely for me, his best game. I thought Sheffield United he was outstanding against his old club, but I thought today he really, really played well after that opening 5 minutes. Got used to live down there, Ellen Road, when I was a bairn. Leeds United always has a place in my heart. Rangers man now, but love my Leeds. Thanks for tuning in, mate. Yeah, my best pal's a Rangers fan as well as a Leeds fan, so I get that. But yeah, it's a great club, mate. I absolutely love it. And Rangers as well, mate. Passionate club, just like us. So you've got it right there. Having liking both, like pal. To be fair, I tell you what though, the atmosphere today was strange again. I don't like talking about the atmosphere too much. I don't want to ruffle any feathers, but I think as a paying fan, I'm there. I act as someone who's sat at home who's commenting what I can hear on TV. I actually go to pretty much every home game, to be fair, and I was surprised. I was walking down to the stadium with a mate, and I thought I'd have a check on my phone today, just refresh on stadium plan to see how many seats were left. And there were seats available in every single section of every stand, bar the west stand, only half the west stand. But then every single section, you could get a single seat, sometimes more, in every single section, even in South Stand. I mean, when you're in stadium with just over 36,000, it didn't look like that, but there were single seats in every section, which is crazy. And I don't know if that's because of the football. It's boring some people, putting people off, or if it's just that time of year. It's Christmas time, and money. And I mean, to be fair, it's really expensive to go, and I'm quite fortunate that the missus lets me do it, even though there's other stuff I'd probably spend money on if it were up to her. But I don't know if it's just that time of year that it's expensive to go and stuff. But I was surprised, especially with it being a Saturday 3:00. We've had a couple of Tuesdays, midweek games that have had similar sort of availability right up to kick off, and I sort of understand that 8:00, on a midweek, on a school night. They say, but I was just surprised today. But maybe it's just that time of year. I mentioned it to Mrs. and she said it's probably just that time of year. It's coming up to Christmas. There's more important things than football, isn't there? So yeah, I just thought I'd touch on that, see what anyone else's opinion was. But yeah, the atmosphere today was it was dull, Danny. It was really, really quiet. I mean, first half we played better football and it was quite quiet, and then I think the fans picked it up a little bit in the second half to try and get the players going, and then by the time the subs came on in like the 70th minute, the fans got going then, and we're the champions of Europe. We're ringing around the stadium, the scarves were going, and it got a little bit better towards the end, and obviously then the roof comes off with a second goal. But yeah, I always go on about it, expectancy. I just feel like you sit there and you expecting the first goal to come from Leeds. You're waiting for that first goal, and until it comes, you sort of just, you don't know how to feel. It's a strange one. We'll go to Premier League next season, and we're bouncing, win, lose or draw next season. Just yeah, it's a bit of a weird one. It was a bit dull, mate, but we get the win and we move on, don't we? So yeah, like I say, that first half, we're going at halftime 1-0. I was happy with the performance. I wanted more goals, but we had a disallowed goal as well from Byram's cross to Solomon. Yeah, it was Solomon, wasn't it? Solomon. That could have been 2. We were just offside. Really good play again. I think it was Aronson who played it through. Really good run by Byram, just offside. Played it across, tapping for Solomon. It could have had a couple of goals today. It turned out he got none, unfortunately. Saturday drawing helped. Cheers, Coventry. Yeah, it did, mate. Yeah, like I say, we got 3 points today, but it seems like a miles better result because Sunderland slip up as well. Like I say, that's 3 draws in a row off Sunderland, so that's not they're dropping some points. They dropped 6 points in the last 3 games, which is brilliant news for us. But yeah, like I say, at half time at our place, 1-0 up. We've hit barred off Aronson. They've had a goal disallowed for offside. Just tight margins there. Could be 3-0. So yeah, half time I were relatively happy, expecting more goals in the second half. Obviously the game kicks off, and I just feel like second half the tempo was just so slow. So slow. I feel like that handbrake came on again at half time, and I don't know why. I feel like the only 2 who were really playing with any sort of freedom really were Aronson and Rothwell, and don't get me wrong, Bogle down the right hand side. I feel like the passing were really slow, side to side again. It reminded me very much, spells last season when we had Grover and Ampadu in there as well, and Strauch and Rodon had the ball a hell of a lot more than you'd want them to have the ball, and it was side to side. Not as bad as some of them moments, but it reminded me very much of that. There were moments in this game where I don't feel like we were that brave. I feel like we were just really passive. And I don't normally get that. I don't normally sense that. I normally, we're 1-0 up. I'm normally buzzing with keeping ball. I'd much rather see my team have the ball than be chasing around, trying to win the ball back like we did under Jesse. We ended up with nearly 70% of ball again. I expect that from Leeds now, especially at home. When we're doing it to teams away from home, I definitely expect us to have all the ball at home. QPR not massively threatening, a couple of tricky players, but not, a couple of scares, but no of any note really. Just as I expected, we'd have the ball and they go into a low block, and they are hard to break down. These teams, we know what they've done. They've drawn against Sheffield United away, Sunderland away, and they beat Luton. So we know what they can do. and they try to stifle us. And my main concern is we're only getting a lot of half chances. I don't feel like we're creating much standout chances. Real top quality chances to put away. At Ellen Road, against 23rd in league, I'm expecting their keeper, if it's 1-0 to the 90th minute, which it was today, I'm expecting their keeper to have made 4-5 really good saves. I think we had 21 shots on 21 shots on goal. I think 6 on target, 11 block shots. I feel like a lot of us half chances today. There were so many bodies there crowding the area out, but we don't seem to create many gilt-edged chances. Not at the minute, anyway. They just seem to just be scrappy. Like goal mouth, like scrambles, that first goal. We're not creating anything cutting edge, and Joseph didn't look in game today. A lot of running, a lot of pressing off the ball, a little bit of link up play, but I just feel like he could have played four games today, and he wouldn't have got anywhere near scoring. But yeah, that's my main thing. I want it to happen where if a team keeps us, under 3, 4, 5 goals, because I think that's what we should be looking at every home game, the way we play, how much we hold the ball, and with his quality. I want it to be 1-0 at 90th minute because their keepers had a worldie. When you get a keeper, you think, he's man of match today. We had it with Burnley. Is it Trafford, Burnley's keeper? When he came, I was like, wow, he's a good keeper. What a keeper he is. He had a really good game, saved 2 or 3 really big chances from us. That's what I expect. I don't expect QPR to come just to struggle, get, converting any chances or creating the chances, not even converting, creating those chances. And, they'd be getting blocked and stuff like that. And their keeper not having to make many saves. That's what I find unusual. I can't remember their keeper really making any saves. And that's what bothers me a little bit. Michael Gott says the decision to start Joseph or Pirro is still not certain, especially with Pirro scoring. Big question there. Yeah, 100%, Michael. You know what the thing is with that? It works best with Joseph starting. I feel like that's a fact now. I feel like that's a fact. I feel like his best stint of form prior to these last run of games was with Joseph starting. Pirro came off the bench running it, and he tends to score. Other than the Sheffield United game where Joseph came off the bench to score, it doesn't tend to affect games as much. For me, I like them both for different reasons, but I just feel like when he comes on for 20 minutes, half an hour, Pirro, he gets that goal, and then how can Farke deny him starting? If you look at that now, you probably go, well, Pirro deserves to start next game, and then he starts next game, and if it doesn't work, you're then having to bring Joseph on, and that doesn't work as well. So I quite like the thought of having these, talented players on the bench. Maybe if they are a little bit pissed off, because people, and I love Dan James. I love Dan James to start every game, I would. But you look at that today and you go, Pirro and James coming on together, which I knew that'd be the sub on 68, 70 minutes. I wanted it a little bit earlier. I think you could have done it on 60 minutes. But you look at that for a double substitution. Like, Dan James is going to work his socks off for you. And the quality's there now. But, bear that in mind. The quality's there with Dan James now. He ain't just a pair of legs now. He's got a lot more to his game. You're bringing him on, who's going to run direct, try and get him behind, cross the ball in. And then you've got Pirro, who'll just pick up any scraps in that box. It works. So for me, Michael, I agree. It's probably now just, maybe even put the ball back in Pirro's court. But it's also an argument to it of the game's a different game at 70 minutes. They're 1-0 down. They're having to eventually, they try to go as long as they can, damage limitations, keep the score down. Ideally, they want to be going into 70th minute, want the 0-0, obviously. But they haven't done bad to get there, 1-0. They're still in game at 1-0. Then they've got to start coming out. And then, get a bit more space, a little bit more room to run into, hence James coming on and looking threatening. So I think it works better with Pirro coming on late on, when there's a bit more space, and Joseph sort of worked the defenders, tired them out, so to speak. I do think Pirro's a bit more mobile now than he gets credit for. Nowhere near as mobile as Joseph, no, but I don't feel like he's as stagnant as he was last year. I feel like he does. He gets the ball and he releases it quicker, and he tries to spin, tries to keep busy, keeps moving. Like I say, he's not as good at. It's just not his game, really. It's something he's having to adapt, and I feel like he fits his system better this season than he did last season. And for the minutes he's playing, for the goals he's scoring, if he played 90 minutes for these 15 games, he'd be top scorer in league, wouldn't he? Not just at Leeds, I think, in terms of his numbers, the fruit roof for how many minutes he's played. But I think we keep it as it is, Michael. But I do agree that there's a conundrum there, and there's nothing saying he won't switch it back again after international break and start Pirro now he's scored. But I think this is the way forward. I wanted this change. I said this, in my pre-match that I feel this is the best way to play with these two. Start Joseph, bring Pirro on when game's stretched, and it happened today. And Pirro comes on and gets his goal. So for me, I think it works. I think I was proved right on that one. But yeah, we'll have to see going forward, won't we? As long as they both stay injury free and we don't have to rely on Pat at all, I'll be happy. I don't think we'll do it in January. So if they, like I say, Pirro's record's pretty good for his injury. I can't remember him having any injuries since he's been at us. I don't know what he was like at Swansea. I feel like he's always got a clean bill of health as Pirro and Joseph. A young lad. I don't envisage many injuries between them. I feel like if one's out of form, the other one's in form. And if you add the goals and the goal contributions up together as a 9 combined, that they're doing the business. For me, it's just which way you start them for me. But yeah, what's that, Michael? Leaving Pirro to one side. Is Joseph better at running off the shoulders of defenders and on counters? Struggle with a low blow. Yeah, Joseph is better at running off shoulders, mate. He is. It's hard, mate, with a low block, innit? Because if they're going to sit so deep, it might be hard for Joseph to get behind them. You know what I mean? It isn't one of them where you have Pirro in the box, occupying them defenders, and if the defenders are of high quality and they can't clear it out, and we saw today there were a lot of times QPR couldn't clear the lines. The ball were bouncing around like a pinball in their box, and Pirro could have got a couple maybe if he'd played today. I think Joseph was good at chasing him down, but I don't feel like Joseph were that impactful today. Really, like I say, ran around, will have tired the defenders out, moved them around, but ball didn't really drop for him. I feel like a couple of times in that first half, especially if Pirro were in box, he finds little pockets, he finds little areas. He's a really clever player, is Pirro, where Joseph's still learning that game. I definitely feel like away from home, it suits Joseph better. When the home side who we're up against, it probably aren't going to sit as deep because they're at home. You've got to show a little bit more when you're at home. I know that's not always the case, but I feel like Pirro's probably better at home. Joseph's better away. If you're gonna push me to pick one in general, but yeah, I like the balance. Like I say, with Pirro coming off the bench and Joseph starting. Yeah, so that, like I say, up to about 60 minutes, I was getting frustrated and I wanted changes. And it's the first time I've really criticised Farke. I don't criticise him really ever because he's his manager. I don't really like criticising anyone. Positivity breeds positivity and all that, and he's the best man for the job. You know what he'll do? He'll get us somewhere close because the level's a lot less this year. That getting us close to what we got last year will be enough this year. I reckon 85 you go up. I reckon anywhere near 90 we romp the league by a fair few points. So yeah, I don't really tend to disagree with many of his decisions because on the whole we sort of get what we need. But today, I come on, Farke, make some change. I really want to change on the hour mark. You could see the game sort of stagnating. You could see QPR being able to push up a little bit more and have a bit more ball. The whipped one across as box, and they had a few chances, a couple where Millie had to come out and collect, and he did well. But there were a couple of moments, where they were getting free kicks, and you could hear QPR fans all of a sudden. And I was getting a bit. I didn't feel the score, but in those moments, you get a little bit nervy. I mean, there were a moment a bit later on when Gilavogi came on and he give ball away, and they were sort of through for a second, and then it sort of fizzled out. But yeah, you have some moments whenever it's 1-0, you're always in with a chance to concede, aren't you? And they did really well. The QPR stay in the game. They didn't play well, but they did well to stay within one goal of Leeds United at Ellen Road, which not many teams will do this season. So they did really well in that aspect. The subs were the exact subs that we needed. I just wanted them earlier, like I say. James and Pirro come on. Gilavogi comes on and Schmidt comes on a little bit later on. I feel like Dan James for Solomon was the right call. I feel Solomon played well. I've seen some people giving him a bit of shade already, saying that he didn't play too well. I disagree with that. I thought Solomon played really well. It's hard sometimes because we tend to say he played crap or he played shit. He didn't have a good game. But is that based on him genuinely not having a good game, or is that just based on his ceiling for him? He hasn't had the best game. I mean, I think his best game for Solomon in a Leeds shirt was that Hull game when he assisted Joseph's goal with that ball in. When he whipped him with his left foot, cracking effort. That I don't feel like he's played as good as that since, and there's reasons for that. Every time he sort of gets a bit of a run inside, he picks up an injury. He's had really serious knee injury, meniscus, and then he comes back. He's playing for some games and he does his back, and he needs a run of, I think, 3, 4, 5, 6 games starting and getting close to 90 minutes, maybe 70 minutes, 80 minutes, like he has today. He's not my ideal profile of a winger. I think everybody would say, it's Ramazani, not just for Leeds United, just that dynamism, that sort of actual winger. I think he's brilliant, and we're definitely missing him. But we can't moan about missing a Ramazani when we've got the money and the wage bill and everything we've got. So Solomon's a Premier League player, 100%. It's a bad injury. How did he come back? For me, it was a good game today for him. He's got Byron, both right-footed on that left-hand side. It's probably not ideal. Solomon cuts back inside a hell of a lot. So ideally, Firpo, overlapping. Solomon will be better. He could take that defender away where Byron tries it, but they tend to both sort of step in. So it's not as fluid as that right-hand side. But I think they both did well, and like I say, I thought Solomon it went up there as one of his best performances for Leeds. And like I say, he could have had, if it wasn't for Nonto in that second half with that run Nonto had, he plays that ball a little bit better. Solomon dinks a keeper potentially. That goal don't get ruled out for offside if Byron holds his run a bit better, than Solomon could have had 2 goals today. You know what I mean? And it were fairly close to that happening. So I thought he played well. But yeah, those subs, Dan James. He's just a phenomenal player, I feel like as soon as he comes on, I feel like with Dan James, it doesn't take long for him to warm into game. He doesn't need. He's someone you can give 15, 20 minutes to, and I think he'll leave it all on pitch. He doesn't. Some people you think, he's giving 10 minutes. Well, he ain't going to be able to get in game in 10 minutes. Dan James can. Dan James can get into game for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. He can play full 90. He's building up to match fitness. I understand why he started Solomon. For me, he's got to give him some sort of start at some point, which he has today. But Dan James, I think, is everyone's nearly almost everyone's favourite player now. What he's gone through at Leeds United. Signed him. We hadn't signed him. He goes to Scum. We finally get him. A lot of money. Plays up front. Don't deliver. Goes to Fulham. Gets shit on. Comes back. No one really thinks he can do it, even though we've dropped down a level. Last season, phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. Nearly gets us back in playoff final. Gets given 7 shirt, and everyone, no one can moan if he starts, can we, week in, week out now, Dan James. But I feel a bit unfair to say, and I love him. I wish he could play every minute. I wish we had 11 Dan Jameses out there. I really do. I think he's got everything, especially at this level. But yeah, he's a bit of a super sub for me. He's like, if it's not working, or you're 0-0, 1-0 down, or even 1-0 up, and you're not having the best of games as a side, do you want Solomon coming on or Dan James coming on? I feel much better thinking Solomon's like today. Solomon's done well, right? Let's go up another gear now. Usually your bench players aren't as good as the ones starting. In our case, it's not exactly true. I think like to bring Dan James and Pirro on, you could argue they're better than Joseph and Solomon. You could argue, or inform, what they're going to impact that game. You're not losing out if all you're gaining, especially with like Dan James. Maybe he's ceiling it as high as Solomon. Solomon's a really technically gifted footballer when he's on it, but James is just a rocket, and he's unreal, absolutely unreal. With all the injuries, especially key players like Ramazani and Ampadu, if we can keep in touch, get the points till the new year. With these injuries back, we could kick on big. Yeah, 100%, Michael. But like, I assume Ramazani we're back after international break, so hopefully we haven't got many more games to play without him. I'm hoping he's close to fitness now and he can get a bit of training over international break. But you think maybe a game or so after that, maybe he's back starting fitness. Hopefully, Ampadu's going to be like a new sign in January. I've seen you mention there about January. Do we do a 9 or 10? I don't think we'll go for anyone in January. I don't think we sign anybody in Jan, mate. I think Ampadu will feel like a new signing. It'll be really refreshing for him to come back. And best thing for Ampadu, well, not for Ampadu, but for the team, is you've got a player of Ampadu's quality, and he's not a given he'll get inside. People think he will because we know Farke loves him. He's one of Farke's favourites, but it shouldn't be a given that he walks back inside, and that's great. Someone like Ampadu potentially sitting on bench for a few weeks, maybe rest of the season if these two carry on like they are. And nobody could argue with that. I personally think Ampadu was a better centre half than a centre mid, but that's just my opinion. Actually, the same last night. Yeah. And Stephen Hoss, hey mate, thanks for tuning in, lad. Ramazani's really missed. Yeah, he is massive. Like I say, I don't know if when we signed him, everyone knew his qualities. Obviously, I did what you do when you YouTube him and you see the highlight reel and you see him score at Bernabeu and you think that's some player that. Everybody said in summer, you cannot replace Somerville with one player, because if you do, you're going to have to spend 30, 40 million, aren't you? And I disagree with that. I think for the money we've paid for Ramazani, which I think 7 million up front, is it rising to 10, 11? Someone in chat might correct me, around that mark anyway, not a Somerville fee. I think he's as good as Somerville. And people could tell me I'm daft because the numbers don't back it up yet. I think Ramazani is as good as Somerville, if not better. I think he's just got so much more to his game. He don't just cut in. And I mean, I had to say Somerville just cut in on his right and scored. He was phenomenal. And when we were playing poorly last season, he'd get us out of jail, which we haven't really had this year. I really, really feel though that Ramazani will have a better career than Somerville. I think he'll kick on, and he's just a top player, you know. And yeah, he's missed, but we can't moan about him, you know, not being available at minute, Stephen, just because, you know, the players we've got and the wage bill, and there's still a lot of talent there, isn't there? But I definitely agree. For me, when Ramazani's played, all that front line play better. He raises everyone's game. I touched on this quite a few times, to be fair, recently, that I feel like when Ramazani's playing, everybody raises the games. Everybody. Like, Nonto's playing with a smile on his face. You sort of see that Somerville and Nonto link up, you know, a little dancing when they scored, and they had that when Ramazani scored against Watford. I think he just raises everybody's games as Ramazani, and that competition when he comes back, especially, it's just crazy. The wingers when everyone's fit is just ridiculous. But I don't tend to think too much about when everyone's fit, because when do we ever have everybody fit? It just never happens, does it? Matty, do you think Farke sees Schmidt as a winger? Yeah, Danny, I was saying this to my mate today. He's come on what? I think that's his 4th sub appearance now, equaling about 15, 16 minutes in total this season. I think he's come on 3 times on wing and once in a central midfield role. I don't think he's come on at any wing back roles. So potentially, I'm not too sure, mate. He probably don't want to end up being a winger, because when everyone's fit, if that does happen, he's probably not going to get a game. But he's he looks decent in that position. And with Farke being quite risk averse, if he is a good winger, if he can play winger, it'd be perfect for Farke, really, once he's proven himself. Because, you know, if he's a defensive minded winger, he's going to give Farke more of that stability which he likes. You know, like Byram, he ain't going to give you as much as Firpo. As a fan's point of view, you know, I like Byram. He's probably not too bothered Byram starts today, Farke, because it gives him a bit more of a solid base, doesn't it? You know, he ain't as fluid going forward, and like I say, we know what Farke likes, don't we? So, but yeah, it's interesting, mate. Like I say, he's getting a bit of time as a winger, and to be fair, looks really comfortable there, doesn't he? I mean, it's hard because he's only had 5-6 minutes today, and the game stretched. Like I said, there were a lot of space when he came on, but you can only, you know, work with the time you've got, and he looked really direct. Like he set up that Pirro goal, didn't he? You know, with his, you know, really, honestly, just really impactful on that left-hand side. He comes off a Nonto ran his socks off today. And yeah, I thought Schmidt, mate, he looked really good. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with him, because I didn't think he was going to get any minutes after Farke's press conference last week. And clearly, he's given him a bit of kick up backside, because within a week he's coming on there and getting some minutes. And let's be fair, it weren't a 3 or 4-0 like it was against Plymouth when he didn't come on. You know, a week later, it's still in the balance. It's a game at that point, and he's brought him on there, and he's looked really good. And reading comments on social media, a lot of fans for that 6 or 7 minute cameo are all giving him praise. So it's nice to see, and you know, if he sees that'll be good for him, because I'm sure his confidence will have been a little bit low seeing kids like, you know, Charlie Crew come on and for him against Plymouth instead of him, against Plymouth, and it can't be good when you're a 24, 25-year-old lad who's been playing in European competitions and scoring goals and been a mainstay in that side. So I'm really thrilled for him, to be fair, that he's come on and had some impact in that short space of time he had. Michael Gott says, Max on Leeds lately. Leeds stream was saying today that Ramazani could be out until New Year's Day. Until the New Year, sorry. Don't know where he got that from. I don't know either, mate, to be fair. I got told it was 6 weeks. and it's been about what? It's been about 3. And then he's got 2 weeks off international break. I would expect him to be back, mate, just after the international break. I haven't read anything that's told me otherwise. And I thought it were actually going okay as well. It was ligament damage on his ankle when it didn't need surgery, unless that's changed. If someone could tell me in chat, yeah, that'd be a concern if you're out any longer. But yeah, I heard it was 6 weeks. I've not heard anything since. Just that he was ahead of schedule, I think, and doing all right. Like I say, it's 2 weeks off now, no games. Yeah, I was sort of hoping he'd be back within a game or two, mate. I hope that's right. Sam Healy, don't me up like a keeper earlier, Mr. on Joe's channel. Even you didn't mean it when I could see Tanaka as number 10 when Amps comes back, and you said you thought Amps and Tanaka together at the ends. Yeah, when Ampadu comes back, mate, that midfield's gonna be interesting, isn't it? It really is. I do think Tanaka can play it 10, to be fair. I just don't think Aronson's going to get dropped. But I think Tanaka, Sean, can play anywhere in midfield. I've seen enough. You know, he's a brilliant 6. He can play a bit more forward. He can play 6, 8, or 10 for me. He really has. He's got that range of passing. We've seen in recent games. You know, he likes to have a shot. It's hard, isn't it, to see past Ampadu coming straight back into the team for me. I don't think he should, but it's hard to see that not happening. But it'll be interesting, mate. If I'm honest, if I had to make a call, I reckon Tanaka stays in midfield, maybe progresses a little bit forward, maybe into 8 role, and Ampadu comes in and maybe sits a bit more defensive in that 6, and that'll be a double pivot. It's not what I'd have. I think Rothwell. Honestly, I thought Rothwell today, mate, was by far the best player on pitch. There haven't been many games since Rothwell's come in where I don't think he's best player. I genuinely think. Him and Tanaka, pretty much every game since they've come in since Sunderland have been the best 2 players on pitch for Leeds, pretty much. And when they've been off it, they've only been a 7 out of 10. Not, you know, they haven't been off it, have they? You know, they've been 8s and 9s pretty much when we've played well. They're the reason we play well. And like I said today, I loved how when we were struggling and we didn't look too good or we were really slow. I kind of feel like between Strauch and Road on it, we're really slow today. Side to side, passing about a bit. Even Tanaka, quite comfortable in little triangles, passing it about. Rothwell got it, and Rothwell drove with the ball. Rothwell took that man. Like Rothwell, you know, we're getting it out. Give me that ball, and he drove, and he did that multiple times today. And you know, when he does that, he's got a bit of a turn of pace, to be fair. You know, over a short space, and yeah, that first goal, we're all down to him deciding. Give me ball, I'm going with it, rather than this slow tippy-tappy stuff. And yeah, I honestly, I cannot believe Rothwell were at Southampton last year and only made 12 appearances off a bench. Like, he is a phenomenal player at this level. Farkas and LUTV, that is open. Ampadu could be back for back end of December. Yeah, it looks like everyone who's injured, mate, are all ahead of schedule, which is nice to hear. I mean, they're all young, aren't they? Hopefully that's right, mate. Because like I said, I don't really want Ampadu to come straight back in, but yeah, captain, leader, can play in 2 positions. You know, even if he can't get back inside, what a player it is to have on bench. Sean, me too, even 45 minutes try out. Yeah, I agree, Sean, mate. Like I say, I think Aronson stays in 10, but you know, I think Tanaka would be brilliant in 10 as well. I really do. I can't disagree with it. I really can't. I'm not a fan of Amps this season. I feel he's been a bit off for the season. I feel the captaincy. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say that, mate. I don't know about the captaincy, you know. I suppose he played better last season. He didn't have the captaincy, which that's why it's an easy tag to put on him now. And he hasn't played as well. Is it because of the captaincy? Maybe. It just slows it down so much, doesn't it, for me? You know, it slows play down a bit too much. But he's also one of the only players we've got with a bit of bite in there. So it's what do you like? Do you know what I mean? Do you like that fast, silky sort of football? What we're sort of getting now, or the quicker, out in that midfield? Which, like I said, last few games I think we've been quite passive, being very slow. Last 2 games, to be honest. But in general, I think everyone would agree since Tanaka and Rothwell comes in, it's quicker than it is under Ampadu and Gruev. But yeah, Farkas is favourites, doesn't he? And I do think when he's fit, he'll end up squeezing him in there somewhere. But we'll have to see, mate. But yeah, maybe it might be captaincy. maybe, because like I say, we're better last season when he didn't have that sort of tag, did he? But Strouk's a good captain. Strouk's a really good silent leader. Maybe they'll look at keeping Strouk captain and let Ampadu just play his football, mate, and we'll see if that maybe makes a difference. The Ampadu's long injury, he might keep Rafael and Tanaka in. They made him bring Ampadu on from the bench. Have Rafael to bring him back. Yeah, he probably will, mate. I'll probably bring him back gradually. Like, there's no point rushing him back, It's not like, heaven forbid we have any more injuries, it might be different. But while ever these two are fit and playing well, there's no need to change it, so they can ease him back in. I just tend to feel not a bit negative, maybe, but I just feel like he doesn't have to make many big decisions, Farker. Whenever there's been a big decision to make, there's always been an injury of some sort. Like last season, when Stroud gets injured, Ampadu goes back, and then Gruev and Kamara are playing after Gruev can't get in, and I just feel like there's always another injury waiting to happen. And how many times do we get people back and then something bloody happens? It's just so Leeds in it. So I'm hoping we end up with a position where Farker's got some really tough decisions to make, and then we can really judge him then on his on his personnel that he picks. Because for me, Ampadu comes on bench, and if everyone's fit and healthy as they are, he doesn't touch grass from the kickoff. He's only an impact player to come on and see games out, and rotate when there is injuries. I just don't think is at the level we need. We should be dominating games from start to finish on the front foot, away, out, and at home. There's certain games you bring him in for, maybe the Millwall one if you're available. But yeah, for me, I just love the football I'm seeing from the two in there now. Like I say, they stand out pretty much every game. Let's see what Easy said. Hey up, Easy, mate. Thanks for coming in again, pal. Nice to get 3 points. Ampadu won't come straight back in. He'll have to get match fit. He might well be out for the season. Like I say, I've heard January. But are you saying out for season as in he may not force his way back into the team this season? Because I sort of agree with that. In terms of what should be the case, that's right and accurate. I just won't be surprised with Farker, and yourself with Farker. He'll do as he pleases in that sense, and half the time he does some stuff that a lot of fans don't agree with, mate. But yeah, hopefully he's back and at least an option. I think Gilavogi has some bite to him. Yeah, he does, Danny, 100%. I'm going to touch on him as well, Gilavogi. I've just seen this before I come live. You've probably all seen it anyway, but I am massive on social media. So where is he? Oh, it's just gone off now. I'm looking idiot now, isn't it? What he's talking about, how happy is it? So I'll paraphrase now, but last international break, I was sat at home unemployed with no wage. Now I'm playing for Leeds United and loving it. Somewhat along them lines. Amazing. How nice is it to, read something like what a player's put like so happy to be in England playing for Leeds United. Like, I love it. You've just got to love it, and he knows he's only going to get minutes here and there, but he gave a chance away today, to be fair. He lost the ball in our half, but he came to no in end. But he looks a presence when he comes on. He really does. I really like him. I like his personality. I like that he plays with a smile on his face. I like that he's got that bite, like Danny rightly says. He's got really big stature to him. The only other performance he had, when at Bristol, he almost got an end of a set piece and scored with a header. I feel like he's got a part to play this season. I don't think he's going to start many games, but again, for a free transfer, just look at me smiling. I really like him. I'm chuffed we've got him, and I'm chuffed Leeds did the unleeds thing and went out and got someone, when we needed him. Yeah, he's a great player, Danny. It's a great point, mate. He has got some bite to him, yeah. But he plays game with a smile on his face, which I just absolutely fucking love. It's the only difference for me since last season. I prefer the fast, quick, silky football, not running around like Jesse football, but more getting it out wide to our wingers, who are the best players we have. Yeah, mate. Tempo. When Leeds play with tempo, there's no one who can touch us. When Leeds slow it down and play with zero tempo, mate, we are so predictable and so easy for that team to just camp in the box and make it so difficult for us. When we get it out from the back and play it 1, 2, 3 passes with pace, and we're in on goal, and our wingers are attacking their box, how good do we look? It's just, when we're on it, that's the word I always use, is the tempo, and it's usually accurate. When Leeds have a good game, they played with high tempo. What I will say is we haven't played with high tempo for 90 minutes yet. I feel like Sheffield United were probably his most perfect game, his most close to perfect game, should I say. I feel like the tempo, when he on um, at the rate needed for the longest period. Maybe not a full 90, but close to. But when we have these games like Bristol, Millwall, elements today, I don't want to harp too much on because we did win. But it's definitely I'm definitely not satisfied as I normally am with 3 points. Today there were definitely a lot of moments in that game where the tempo dropped and you could see it, and QPR come out a little bit and they got the foot on the ball a little bit, and you can see it, and everybody's saying the same thing, you know what I mean? Side to side, slow football, tempo, and that's when I feel like Rothwell really put his foot on the ball and really, got the team further up the field. But yeah, there's little pockets of time where we can look very average. Easy B. I don't rate Ampadu, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, I did. And I still think he's a decent player at this level, mate. But I do prefer what I see in the players playing in his position now. I can't deny that. I really can't. I'm sure you'd agree. You want him fit and you want him, pushing these players. But yeah, I prefer the midfield we've got at the minute, Paul, to be honest. What an iconic picture behind you, might be also on the bucket. We will never see something like that again. Only Marcelo could carry that off. Mate, legend. My two, I've got twin boys, 5-year-old, and they think it's my granddad. I can't tell them it's not. I wish he was my granddad. Absolutely love him. I actually think Ampadu's a better centre. Yeah, that's something we definitely agree on that, Danny. Definitely. I really think his attributes at centre half for Leeds are perfect. I really do. I think he'd be a much better centre half than a midfielder. I like Gillivoga too. Give him more time, he's gonna be slow. Yeah, he is, mate. I just don't think he'll start many games because I think unless his injuries. I mean, if we had an injury at one of them two now, he would come straight in, wouldn't he? But for me, I don't think he'll need to. But the best thing about Gillivoga is he's happy to not, not happy not to play minutes, but he came in not expecting to play many, and I feel like he's really turned Farke's head. Really turned his head. Like, we know notoriously it takes you a while to get in this team. And when you think of how little football he's played, look at that. He's come straight in and, and he's playing really well. He's Gillivoga. I don't even have to say his name right, but it's Gillivoga for me. But yeah, I just feel like he's a really likable guy, isn't he? And when he's coming, he hasn't really put a foot wrong. A little one today, but didn't, like I said, didn't come with nothing. Hey, mate, you all right, buddy? Thanks for tuning in, mate. Yeah, Boss Nass, isn't it? Yeah, it's Boss Nass. Yeah, I've seen you on Joe Show, mate. Yeah, honestly, thanks for tuning in, mate. Seasiders TV, go check them out as well. What we're seeing here from Michael, agreed on it. Rodden and Ampadu were solid last year at centre back pairing. Problem is Strauch is back. Yeah, mate, how good is Strauch though? Seriously, Strauch is so good, so good. We missed it. When you look at last season, you go that partnership at the back were brilliant in Ampadu and Rodon, and it was. Imagine if we'd have had Strauch in there too, and Ampadu could have played in midfield. Although I think Ampadu's best position is defence. Imagine if we could have Strauch in there too, that could have been a game changer. That could have seen us up. So I'm a massive Strauch fan. I just wish he were good at heading ball in their net, in their area. I think he's decent from ours for set pieces to a degree, but yeah, he's a great finisher for the centre half as well. It really is, as we saw earlier in the season. Yeah, could do either. I prefer Rodon and Strauch. We will always remember, going about Bielsa now easy, we will always remember Bielsa for giving us Stoke. That is what an A-list coach can achieve. I miss that. Oh, mate, don't we all miss that level? Bielsa widows, aren't we now? It's so hard for Farke to live. You know what does my head in though is it's like we always compare Farke to Bielsa because it's, we want them times again, don't we? But I think why I give Farke a bit more slack than maybe you do, buddy. And I know all you want is Leeds to succeed. You're not bothered who's in charge. You want the best for your club, and I totally get that. Me too. I just feel like maybe we should compare Farke to the people who came in after. Your Jessies and your Grazias and your Allardyce. And we need to acknowledge he has picked it up again. And I know we've dropped down in the division. Jesse and Grazia and Allardyce were all in Premier League in that poor side with those players who didn't really want to be here, and I get that. But like we have picked it up, I go to work and I'm happy because we tend to have done well at weekend. For the last year and a bit now, it's not that bad yet. Football, I'll be honest with you, at times it's a little bit boring, but today's the only time it really irked me a little bit. I'm okay with it usually. There is still a little bit of silky play in there, and we do score a few goals, and I'm still going to work smiling. you know, most weeks because we're winning and we're performing. I'm going to games with my mate and we're enjoying this time and we're coming away usually with 3 points. We're only 2 games we lost at home last season, you know. So as much as it, you know, it isn't always the best football on the Farker, I can't say much because I've had a smile on my face for the last year and a half, and that's down to, you know, my team winning games. But when it comes to Bielsa, I don't think I'll ever smile like that again. Buddy, Bielsa will always be everything for me when it comes to football and Leeds United because he just changed everything, changed culture, he changed it. The whole city were just talking about Leeds, the Muriel, everything about the city were just, you know, absolutely on fire, wasn't it, with him? And you'll never get that again because no one's like him, you know. Instead of going at end of season, instead of going back to Argentina, spend time with his wife, he's coaching, you know, young under eights in Leeds, you know, their team, and he's sat, you know, doing his tactics board in Costa and doing his shopping in Morrison's. You just never get that again, mate. He's just such a absolute legend of a man, and yeah, and you know what it is, you don't enjoy something, do you? Because you under Bielsa, especially those first couple of years, you're so stressed about going up because we'd come out of nowhere, out with mid-table to, oh my god, we could go up this year, and you're stressed every game. You don't enjoy like that Stoke game. What a game! I remember Bristol City game. What a game! You know, yeah, you enjoy the moment, but you're always like, oh my god, can we win next week? Next week, worried something's going to happen, something Leeds is going to happen, and then before you know it, it's gone, and he's gone. And as we've seen now, you know, Note's probably ever going to taste the sweet again, buddy. Boss Nas, hey up, Danny. If you're not following Boss Nas, please go. Go give Seasides TV a subscribe. He's a top guy. He's Boss Nas. He really is, knows his stuff. Russ Vernon, sports journalist. Big love, Matt. I love your stuff, bro. I follow you since you appeared on George. Yeah, honestly, Russ, that's mint. Thanks so much for saying that, buddy. I always just tend to feel like I'm waffling on and people think I'm talking shit and maybe there's no one else to watch, so you're just tuning in to watch me. But it's quite nerve-wracking doing this. I am just a normal lad, but I just love talking about it. So honestly, that comment's mint, Russ. Thanks so much for that, buddy. I really do. I just try to be myself, and let's be fair, we all love talking about Leeds, don't we? And if it means we don't have to chew our wives and girlfriends' ears off, and we've got a little place, that's all I do it for. Really, I've got a little place to talk about it. I'm not I'm not that knowledgeable really in terms of tactics and stuff like that. I just give an honest fans review. I go to games, so I feel like I can talk, you know, quite openly about stuff because, you know, I spend my money. I go, not that really matters in terms of stuff. You know, people have a right to speak about it, but I feel like I go to games with my best pal, and it's great for my mental health. And I just right enjoy going and talking about it. So much appreciated that you've even dropped that comment, and I really appreciate anybody that takes time to listen to me because it still blows my mind that anyone even wants to. So thank you for that, Russ. Out of Wilkinson, the Don, Marcelo, who's your 1, 2, 3 coach? That's a right question, that, mate. It's crazy, isn't it? Because it's yeah, I don't know. The Don's got to be number 1, hasn't he? Marcelo will be 2 and Wilkes will be 3 for me. But it depends on your generation, doesn't it? Marcelo is obviously the one who's brought me the most joy. Wilkinson, I remember when I was a kid, I was born in '87, so I remember early '90s, but I was only a kid, didn't appreciate them. They came a little bit too soon for me. And obviously, Revy, you just hear the stories. I've read the books, I've watched the footage. Unreal. But yeah, obviously Bielsa's just yeah, it makes my heart smile, does that man. Michael Revy, Wilco Bielsa. Michael got what's Seaside's content. Danny fills him in like he always does on the chat. Michael, Bridlington Town. Yeah, isn't it? Doing some lead stuff too. Hey, Danny. Sean Healy, I don't compare Farker to Bielsa. I agree with Wilco, and Wilco has done more than Bielsa. Wilkinson got us promoted, won us 2 league, got us to win the final, built Thorpe Parts. No arguing with that, Sean. No arguing with that. Okay, Danny. Danny, I've told you how good you are. Stop worrying. Yeah, no, I'm not worrying really, mate. It's just, yeah, when someone says something nice, I really appreciate it, that's all. We all appreciate you too, Danny. We do. Your Leeds and you'll do for us. Cheers, Richard, mate. Definitely Leeds. You can tell by the way I talk. I'm bloody Leeds through and through with me, mate. I really am. Big old lady fanboy me. For me, the flowers do not get given. Yeah, to be fair, mate, that's the time when I can really remember when I was a kid. You know, been a young teenager and the European nights and stuff. I didn't go to many games under Old Lady, just a couple. We used to get tickets through school and that when I were in high school, and I went to a few games. But yeah, I'm more of a in terms of going to games. I'm more of a recent fan. Last couple of years, I always tend to think you could never get tickets. You never get a ticket. You can if you're willing to go sit on your own and sit wherever you can, and that's what I tend to do now. But for years, I just assumed you couldn't get tickets, and that probably was the case, especially under Bielsa. I just went to a few. Quite lucky that the company I work for get hospitality tickets now and again, so I've sort of I go to a couple every season, growing up, and then in being a young man, now an old man. But yeah, I get to most now. Sick. Michael got Wilco, everybody else. O'Leary got so lucky that he got the players that Wilco helped mature. We underachieved, should have won something. Yeah, bloody hell, we didn't half underachieve, mate. That team was young and firing, wasn't it? It really was. Could have won so much. Seaside, he was mad. He was lucky he got one F4 with a bunch of generational talent. Seaside, Stevie, I'll come on sometime, Matty. Can have a yarn. Yeah, 100%, mate. 100%. Drop me a message on one of my socials, mate, and then I've got your contact properly then, and I'll have a chat with you, mate. Yeah, I'm always looking to get someone on just for a general chat, mate. It makes the stream go a lot better as well. No worries with that, boss Nas. Yeah, great. I stop overthinking. Danny, I remember climbing on traffic lights, City Square, 92, open bus stop. I knocked off school. I was 11. I love that story, Danny. That's me. I love little stories like that, little nuggets where you find stuff out where people have all these little memories of time that they can go back to and talk about. That's class, that, mate. Yeah, that's class. But yeah, in terms of today's game, I don't think there's much else to say really. 3 points, massive that Sunderland dropped points today. They've had the drop points last three draws, 2 away from home. As we know, going away from home, get a draw. It's annoying, but it's not that bad. But to see him concede 2 today against a Coventry side that have just sacked the manager, sometimes that happens, though, doesn't it? You know, you look at that on paper and you think just sacked the manager, so they'll have an assistant in more a temporary manager, probably an assistant from Robins in charge, and you're expecting him Sunderland to turn them over, and then they go and do that, and the claw goal back late on and a 2-2 draw. That's great for us. It goes to show that Joe Bellingham's a big miss for them. He's been out for the last couple. I think he's still got one more game on his suspension to sit out. So I'm absolutely buzzing that he's out for another game. And yeah, long may it continue. I love there's a bloke called Wayne from Only Fools and SAFC. Regulars will know him. He's been on a live with me. We've had a chat and we speak quite regular. And he feels like it's too early to say they'll stay up there, and they're starting to show now. When you draw 3 games in a row, like I say, it's 6 points drop there in it out of 9, and it's massive that for us. It's massive. I mean, that Millwall game's annoying, but now we're only 2 points off going into international break. That's not a bad place to be. That I'll take that every day of the week. Just need Wednesday to help out tomorrow. Yeah, we do, pal. We do. Russ Ferdinand, if you need someone to come on, let me know, mate. I'll come on, mate. This is mint. That's 2 more people that'll come on and for the team with me. So I really appreciate that. Yeah, like I said, drop me a message on my socials as well on my Instagram. And yeah, we can have a bit of dialogue there. No worries about that. I remember me and my dad going nuts when Dido dropped the Boya strike into the net. Wow, whoa. Oh, yeah, against AC Milan. Yeah, me too, mate. Yeah, me too. Did you gonna say when I said that? Dido. I thought you wanted me to sing a song again, then, mate. Yeah, Dida. Yeah, I remember that too, mate. That was a shock. It goes to show that even the world class goalkeepers have that in the locker now and again. What happened to Firpo today? What's he bound for? So if you haven't read anywhere, Richard, it was the 94th, 95th minute of the Millwall game. Just as a ref were blowing his whistle, they were coming together in the Millwall box. Firpo's leaned in with his head. Didn't look much, but the footage, the camera angle isn't the best. The referee didn't see it. Nobody else saw it other than, I think, the player that got the headbutt. It wasn't really a headbutt. It sounds worse than what it was, but he's leaned in there and, he's made a meal out of it. He's then raised the issue, I think, after the game. And they found it on camera, and it's gone to the FA, and the FA banned him 9 o'clock this morning, got banned for 3 games, which is really, really, really annoying for such an experienced player. and you know, he's give Farker an headache there having to play Byron when, you know, he won't have wanted that. A bit of adversity. We get beat by Millwall, a couple of draws away from home. Last thing we needed, we're losing one of his main starting players, and one of the first names on team sheet is Firpo. So yeah, it wasn't ideal at all, that, pal. But like I said, I didn't think it'd matter today, and I don't think it'll matter the next 2 games. But we just need as senior players not to be losing their heads. It's just not something we need. So that's what happened there, buddy. Sean, I was there. The wet night at the road. Fans are going mental. Indeed, the drops ball. Yeah, man. I will come on if you want some wild takes, bro. Well, to be fair, Sean, I messaged you yesterday. I messaged you and Danny. I wanted you both on, and Danny replied, and then you replied when I was nearly done in my stream, or you'd have been on last night, buddy. But I messaged everyone a bit late, to be fair. Sometimes I just get a bit of a gut feeling like, oh, I'll ask, and yeah. But you weren't available. What's your Insta, pal? So it's find me on Imagine Not Being Leeds on Instagram. I haven't got I have actually, yeah. Imagine thing is with this boss Nas, it's Imagine Not Being Leeds is my email, because when I set everything up right, because I speak proper common, it will Imagine Not Being Leeds, because that's just where I say it. I know it's beings is a proper term, but I got a bit of stick saying why is it called being? It should be being. So I changed everything over when I could, but I never bothered with email. But yeah, it's Imagine Not Being, BEEN Leeds at gmail.com if you want to email me on that, pal. I'll check it out. Yeah, I spell it wrong at start, which is mint, because when you're somewhere like this and everyone can, you know, take shots, they don't have to take shots at a bit of grammar and stuff wrong, but it is what it is. But yeah, it needed changing to being. But yeah, I'm a bit of a tool that, so Danny would have loved to be in church at Galen Road. Yeah, I always call it church as well. Russ, FA charged Firpo on Thursday. Leeds / Firpo responded yesterday morning. FA got banned last night. Yeah, it's not ideal, is it, mate? You just want more from your senior players, don't you? To lose your head, lose your cool in the dying seconds of a game. It's unforgivable, really. But we do love Firpo, and he's got the best song I've ever heard at Ellen Road, to be fair. I didn't know you meant from that message. Let me know. Yeah, I was sort of just feeling you out. I was sort of just giving you, hey up, mate, how you doing? And then you didn't reply for ages, which is fine. But yeah, I'll definitely get you. I'll get you and Danny on together one show, mate. Like I say, it's miles easier, you know, to and fro with people in it and getting other people's comments. It was nice to have Danny on last night. But yeah, guys, unless anyone else has got out in chat, I'll give you a minute to bring up. Has anyone got any other points? Sean, I replied to him 3 minutes before he was going. I still turned up. You did, to be fair, mate. Yeah, literally, I was about to go live and he popped up saying, yeah, you'll do it. It was much appreciated. While I'm waiting to see if anyone's got what else to say, just to know, tomorrow, the final pint with the Only Leeds Bros, lads, Darren and Dylan. My favourite show that I do, that they do. It's my favourite show on YouTube now. And I'm a big fan of all the big hitters, but I think the final pint, we all have a pint and chat just like you would in the pub. You know, we get through the formalities, what you've got to talking about the game and stuff, but it's a lot more relaxed, and yeah, it's a really fun space, a really fun show. And yeah, I'd love to get people who's on here tonight who's not been on before. The final pint. What I will say is we tend to go in between 8 and 9. It tends to change because I'm usually on Joe's The Final Word, or if I'm not, the Only Leeds Bros might be. And if neither of us are, we don't want to be on the same time as Joe, because a lot of our regulars, you know, we've sort of got from Joe's show. So if we say we're going at 8 and Joe says going at 8, we'll push it back to 9 and vice versa. But there'll be something go out tomorrow at some point on probably all the socials. At mine and Only Leeds Bros, but it's actually on my channel. We alternate. The final pint between shows. So one week it'll be on Only Leeds Bros channel, following game, so it'll be on mine. So we're on my channel tomorrow night. So yeah, come over to Imagine Not Being Leeds, and yeah, see us both. We'll see the three of us put the world to rights with a nice cold pint, just to finish the weekend off nicely before we go back to work and start the week again. This time 2 awful weeks because there's no football. But yeah, let's see. Quick in here. MOT all, and thanks, Matt. Yeah, Michael, thanks for your comments, mate. Really appreciate it. Some really good questions there. Thanks for keeping me mentally sharp at 10:15 at night. Really appreciate your comments, mate. Always. Thanks so much. Prediction for Swansea away, mate. I'm a weird one, me, Russ. I'm super positive, as Danny will tell you. Ask Danny. Danny will tell you. Danny will get it right. Danny talks sport. He's always, if he's wrong, he's always close. It's a game we'll win, but away from home, yeah, it's going to be tight. I'm going to go 1-0, mate. 1-0 Leeds, and I hate saying that. I hate it when I say 1-0 Leeds or 2-1 Leeds. It's like, I feel like I've said we're going to lose or we're going to drop points. I just always, at home, it's 3 or 4-0, my prediction every game. Always 3 or 4. And I don't know why I say 4 now, because Farker, he pulls handbrake on, doesn't he, after 2 goals, especially. So, but yeah, I usually sit around 3 goals at home. Away from home, yeah, it's going to be tight. I can't predict a draw. I really can't. I mean, some in chat there might be able to predict losses and draws. I'm just one of them. I just can't. Even if I think we'll lose, I can't. Maybe it'll be different when we're in Premier League. I'm not going to start saying we're gonna beat City 3-0 when we're at Ellen Road and stuff. I'll be a bit more measured in the way I deliver things when we're in the Prem. But right now, I don't think I'll tip anything other than a win. But yeah, I'll go 1-0, mate. I don't know what you think, but yeah, I'll go 1-0. Oh Christ, me and Danny on together be carnage. Honestly, mate, yeah, it would be carnage, a bit of a class, wouldn't it? Let's be honest. By a lot of numbers are. Honestly, well, at the game today, right, it's 1-0. And I'm looking at it, I'm going, oh, Danny's right. Danny's actually got this right again. And I got my phone out of my pocket to leave my little voice note on Instagram. And honestly, I got it out. And as I got this chat on from earlier, Danny, Pirro scored that goal. And then I gave you a voice note, didn't I? Obviously saying, you didn't get it right, even though you nearly did. To be fair, after 90 minutes, you were right. But yeah, I literally got my phone out to say, you bleeder, you got it right again. And then he scored. Oh, I was so buzzing. We'll get on the final pint. Yeah, too right. We'll get you. Let's say we'll get you on at some point, mate, on there as well. Yeah. Sure, and I behave when on people's channels. You do, to be fair, mate. You're a good lad. Stephen Horseman. I was a bit concerned with Solomon not tracking back to help Byram. That's how he got the bug in. Yeah, no, I agree, mate. That would definitely be a bit of a concern today. So I thought Solomon played well. I thought Byram played well, not brilliant, but well. To be fair, and I'm a big Byram fan, but I thought he did okay, especially the fact he won a booking early on, and then he did 2 fouls after that. And luckily they weren't bad ones. The referee didn't give him a second yellow. But yeah, I feel like Solomon had a good game, but I definitely feel like he ain't that winger that wants to track back and do dirty work, mate. When you think we had Somerville, who were a classy winger last year, he still tracked back. I'm not saying he was the best at it. He still tracked back. Solomon, maybe it's just he, like you say, he match sharp. So maybe I'm giving him a little bit of grace here. But yeah, I think technically good play. I thought he had a decent game today for him, but definitely something I noticed today, buddy. He doesn't track back nowhere near as much as the other wingers we've got. As you know, Willie Nonto gets back, Ramazani gets back as well. You know, and obviously Dan James can do it all. Dan James could be in net, Strat, he could do it all. Dan James is everywhere, isn't he? But yeah, I noticed that today. I feel like Byron were really isolated. The few times QPR did that ball, and a couple of times he had no other option to foul, did he? So on another day he could have got a red. So yeah, I agree, mate. I agree. Richard would though, just as right. Honestly, Richard, thanks so much, mate. Yeah, I really appreciate that, buddy. Subscribe and hit the like button, folks. Thanks, guys. Last few comments. Danny 1-0 Leeds. Yeah, well, look at that, Danny. We agree. Anyone that's new to this channel or hasn't been seeing the final pint, me and the only Leeds bros, we do his predictions on the final pint. That's the one we do his predictions for. So we'll do that prediction tomorrow night with the other guys, and we've got a little thing going where whoever is at the bottom of the table when it comes to predictions at the end, they'll have to do a forfeit, and we've decided on the hot chip challenge. So that'll be something fun to do last game of season. Or if we're all equal and we can't pick, we've said our regular here, Danny's going to just pick one of us. He probably. I think Danny was saying we have to do 3 or 4 chips or something, which was scandalous, mate. But one's enough, I think. Me, to be fair, Danny, you see me on Joe's live stream, a bit more level-headed. Mate, I love Sean. I love you and Joe together, mate. You and Joe are so funny, so funny. You don't have to rile him up, don't you, mate? It's so good. The banter's class, really is. Swans 0 Leeds 2. Pinot brace. Here, Russ, I could see it. How many times does an ex-player pop up and do some, Bogle against Sheffield United? Yeah, didn't score, but played out of his skin. You can just see it, can't you? And I know full well all Swansea fans will be saying the same thing. Piddo's coming back. Piddo scores most games anyway, doesn't he? Especially if he I think if he starts on bench, he definitely comes off and gets one. But yeah, he will score against Swansea without a doubt. 2-0 Leeds. Piddo and Willie. He's due a goal. He's due a goal, mate. Yeah. Again, let's subscribe and hit the like button. Thank you. Come on, peeps. You know what to do. Smash the like and subscribe. Thank you. I pick who does it if it's a draw. Yeah, that's fair, mate. That's fair. Matt Grimes could pop up and score for something. Mate, I'm not having that. I can't believe he still plays. I cannot believe Matt Grimes still plays. It's crazy. He was young when we had him, though, wasn't he? Nearly young. He winds me up. We are so passionate. Yeah. You know what it is? We saw, didn't we, on the final word that I went on with Joe and Lockie after the Millwall game. Like, the more passion you have for your club, you know, you just go at it. And Joe, that was some, like I said, I think Danny said in chat, like, just get your popcorn and enjoy it. But that were really intense on Joe's show last, and I didn't know what to say. Honestly, I almost just started singing after about 10 minutes of Joe talking to try and break it up, but I didn't want to offend him. But I almost just thought I would just burst out into song here to try and break up the show, you know, because no one could get a word in for Joe. But it's just passion in it, you know. We're not always going to agree, but as long as you're respectful and you deliver your point, you know, and Joe, why his points were valid, a bit over the top, I felt at the time. And then today, I'm sort of relaying them back in mid. I'm like, yeah, Joe, we're right with that. Yeah, Joe, we're right with that. Like, yeah, we're just passionate, aren't we, mate? We're just passionate. Sean Healer, that was a ding dong. I think it went far, though. Oh, mate, it went very far. It went very far. The comment where he says, I knew I shouldn't have come on here with a comment where I was like, oh my God, it's going to kick off here. But yeah, it's just two passionate fans hitting heads. We're separate. Like I say, I can't agree that Sunderland at best side in league. Just because they're top of league, I can't agree with that. So that's what really got on Joe's nerves, wasn't it? QPR commenter got Tanaka's name wrong today. Couldn't believe it. How did he pronounce it? Obviously, I was at the game, so I don't know, but I don't know how he pronounced it. Yeah, I did, mate. I literally, when he were about 20 minutes in, during his rant, I can't remember what question it went out. It was just a footballing question. I would just try a button and go, Lockie, what do you think of so and so? And I couldn't get it in. But yeah, I watched it back as well, just to see if it was as bad as what I thought it was live. And yeah, I could see cogs in my head, like, waiting for my moment. Lockie, and then yeah, he went, what? And then yeah, we couldn't get a word in, mate, so it didn't matter. Great stream, mate. Much appreciated. Boss Nas, thanks so much. Talk soon. Thumbnail stuff to do. I felt bad for Joe when he said he shouldn't have come on. Yeah, I thought, mate. Tanika, is that what he said? Tanika. Idiots. Absolute idiots. Right, anyways, I'm going to call it a night now. Otherwise, I just find myself waffling on for sake of it, because I literally really enjoy it. I really do. And doing lives, yeah, I always worried that it'd be like I'd say something and you can't erase it, or I'd make myself look an idiot. But I tend to feel like an idiot most times. Anyway. I mean, look at this. Got this ginger mustache now for November. I've got about 2 weeks head start on it as well, because I just can't grow no. So I always look an idiot anyway. And at the end of the final pint, if you don't mind, a fat lad chatting Leeds stuff, and then having a bit of a sing song. I do a little sing song at the end of each final pint as well. Something that's become a regular thing. Yeah, it is what it is. So a little bit different to norm, but I am who I am. But yeah, thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Absolutely love the support I've had in here tonight. So stick a like, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and make sure tomorrow night, it'll either be 8 or 9 o'clock. I'm sorry I can't pin down the time, but I'm sure you all understand. You know, we don't want to clash with Joe. But yeah, keep your eye out for that tomorrow night, please. The final part with the only Leeds Bros, and we'll have a right good crack at it and go through a lot of this, get in chat, and make that show as good as this one's been. Thanks so much. See you later, everyone. Take care. Peace out. Have a good Sunday. Cheers, guys.